What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. KADARIN is a character that could potentially become a champion in the future, that was developed in part with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. KADARIN was quite fleshed out and actually shows a bit of promise, but also quite a few problems. As well, just before we start, here are some of my favorite comments where I asked about some abilities that could have existed in League of Legends. Today, I want to know, what do you think about KADARIN? And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and if you don't, please hit that dislike. Anyways, let's get started. The full story behind KADARIN begins with someone that you might know already, TotalBiscuit. When League of Legends was in its very early days around 2010, the referral system was a lot different back then, and actually pretty damn cool. It included things like getting some piece of content named after you at 1,000 referrals, unlocking all past, present, and future content permanently at 5,000 referrals, and at 10,000 you were to be given an all-expenses-paid trip to Riot Games to develop and design a champion. And TotalBiscuit, being the legend that he is among the YouTube community, hit that 10,000 referral mark by making some beginner-friendly League of Legends videos that got a boatload of views at the time. So he was given the TotalBiscuit of Rejuvenation as an item, has everything unlocked on his account, but as for the trip to Riot to design a champion, he actually decided to gift that prize to the Make-A-Wish Foundation in hopes that it might make someone happy. And if you ask me, that's a pretty cool thing to do. TotalBiscuit's been a huge inspiration for myself and other YouTubers, so I gotta give him some props for sure. And the Make-A-Wish Foundation would go on to give this gift to a young man by the name of Samuel, who was flown to Riot and worked with the design team on making a champion. Now you guys gotta know me by now, I'm a sucker for anything related to champion design, and the champion that Samuel worked on that has potential to be released in the future goes by the name of KADARIN. KADARIN was designed to be this Noxian gladiator who was denied the honor of a proper death in the arena by Draven himself, instead being just crippled, and he dragged himself all over to Zaun where he was rebuilt with a special life support suit. And I gotta give Samuel some credit here, that's a pretty sweet concept to go off of for designing a champion. Samuel worked with Daniel Klein, aka Riot Xenon, for a few days and busted out a pretty fleshed out prototype for a champion. KADARIN is a marksman that works off of a heat system, kind of similar to what Rumble does, but with a few differences. KADARIN vents heat by attacking, and when he overheats, he slows himself by a really large amount, but also gets a ton of attack speed in order to help vent his heat faster. Samuel himself described KADARIN to be looking like this kind of a bounty hunter from outer space, and that concept for a champion does prove to be quite interesting, or I guess it does for me at least. Although there's no guarantee for if KADARIN will be released in the future, he does show a lot of potential, and the team that worked on him managed to get pretty far in the design process for a champion. However, with all that said, he's still a prototype and needs a lot more development to make it anywhere close to being released. KADARIN shows a lot about the champion design process, in the sense that there's always so much to learn and test, and a whole lot more things get scrapped for every champion that gets released. A vast majority of champions never make it anywhere close to being released and just get stuck with some problem or some aspect that makes them fail as a champion. However, in that process of learning and adapting champions, there's as many things that get cancelled as there are things that make the writers think, hey, you know what, that's pretty cool, or, you know, hey, that idea works really well. Because the thing is that almost every champion that does get some time devoted to it, no matter how big or how small, has some level of potential to them. Maybe their kit is super fun to play with, or maybe their story is really interesting and unique, or maybe their personality is one that could resonate really well with a player. There's a whole bunch of different pieces to the puzzle when it comes to bringing a champion to life. I mean, something as minuscule as like a sound effect or a voice line might be kept around when a champion is scrapped completely and then brought to life in a totally different character. The idea of a mana-less AD carry is quite an interesting one, and as it stands, there's no mana-less AD carries in the game thus far. Now, a big part of that is because AD carries are a lot more balanced when using the concepts that revolve around having mana, as opposed to something that is mana-less or resource-based, but that doesn't make it impossible, and I don't think that designing a mana-less AD carry is out of the question. I mean, sure, mana tends to be a lot easier to work with and a bit more balanced in terms of a champion's kit, but having no mana is a really awesome concept that's given us some pretty damn cool champions that just tend to be balanced a lot differently compared to the mana ones, since they come with, you know, different costs, benefits, and especially different trade-offs. With that said, I'd personally love to see a manaless AD carry in the future, and that idea is one that is pretty cool, could be fun, and most importantly is unique. The fact that it's unique is great, because it means that it would add a character into the game that has a lot of upside to them, benefits, in a sense that they add some element of gameplay to League of Legends that wasn't there before. Riot loves unique champions for that reason. In fact, it's probably the most important thing to them that they try to accomplish when releasing new champions. And by being a manaless AD carry, KADARIN accomplishes that quite well in fact. Daniel Klein is quoted for saying that just around last week or so, he pitched one of KADARIN's abilities for becoming a part of a completely different champion. And although most prototypes get long forgotten, it's likely that KADARIN will receive a little bit more attention than most of the other failed prototypes, simply because of the event and the publicity and hype surrounding it. With that said, it's unclear of whether the design of KADARIN looked promising or not. A lot of times with a successful champion, a big part of them is just so awesome that you can just find a way to bring them to life in one way or another. And as for a manaless AD carry being just that, it's hard to know for sure. KADARIN did prove to have some problems and concerns during his development in terms of what would work, and he seemed to have some questions surrounding the kit that had been made for him. Although Riot isn't clear on what exactly those problems were, Daniel Klein mentioned how he learned a lot about what will not work on a manaless AD carry, which implies that a lot of what they tried will not work in KADARIN's kit, or at least with the concept of KADARIN that they presented. So, should Riot release KADARIN? Well, time will tell if he's a character that can be brought up to par, as at the moment he's quite a ways off. It's quite unlikely that he will be released, to be fair, but it's not impossible, and I think he's a cool character. What you can expect is to see him maybe being brought to life in some way, shape, or form. Maybe some part of his kit gets included in a different champion, or maybe we see that idea of a heat system using AD carry or a manaless AD carry being made with a different character. Or heck, maybe we just see someone give tribute to him in a voice line or something. Either way, here's to you, Samuel, and I hope we see something revolving KADARIN in the future. And that's just about it. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.